Hello everyone, I am Victor. Welcome back to AK Next Gen Vibes. In this video, we will continue our Oracle FLEXCUBE ODT screen development series. Today, we will understand two important configuration areas in ODT: header information and preferences. These settings define the basic function structure and the function ID level behavior required for further screen development. Let us begin. Where does configuration begin? After logging into Oracle FLEXCUBE ODT, the developer maps the session to the required release and environment. From the ODT landing page, the developer opens the function generation node. When creating a new function, the initial configuration begins with the header information section. This is where the basic function-related information is provided before moving to the remaining configuration areas. Header information overview. The header information section contains the basic definition of the function being developed. It includes fields such as action, function ID, save XML path, function type, parent function, parent XML, function category, header template, and footer template. Each of these fields contributes to defining how the function is identified and structured within ODT. We will now understand them one by one. Action, new versus load. The first field is action. ODT provides two options, new and load. Select new when developing a completely new screen. Select load when an existing RADSML needs to be loaded for customization or further development. When load is selected, the corresponding RADSML is browsed and loaded, and the header information is populated from that file. Function ID and naming convention. The function ID is the unique name used to identify a screen. According to the guide, the function ID can have a maximum length of 8 characters. For a detail screen, the third character should be D. For a report screen, the third character should be R. For a call form, the third character should be C. It is also recommended that the first 2 characters represent the module. When an existing RADSML is loaded, the function ID is taken from the RADSML, and the field is disabled. Save XML path. The behavior of the Save XML path depends on the selected action. When the action is load, the browse option is used to select and load the existing RADSML. When the action is new, Save XML path is optional. If a path is provided, generated units can be saved to that location under the applicable client path and user work directory conditions described in the guide. So, this field behaves differently depending on whether the developer is creating a new function or loading an existing one. Function type. ODT provides 3 function types: parent, child, and screen child. Parent is the default option for normal screen development. A child function inherits properties from another screen acting as its parent, and those properties can be modified at the child level. A screen child also inherits properties from the parent, but only screen layout changes can be made at the screen child level. Selecting the correct function type is therefore important for controlling inheritance and customization. Parent function and parent XML. The parent function and parent XML fields are applicable only when the function type is child or screen child. The parent function field is populated when the parent RADSML is loaded and is read-only. The parent XML field is used to browse and load the RADSML of the parent function. If the current action is load, the parent XML field becomes non-editable. These fields establish the required parent relationship for child and screen child functions. Function category. The next important configuration is function category. ODT provides 5 categories. Maintenance is typically used to maintain static data and also includes product definition functions. Transaction is generally used to capture and process contract-related information. Report is used to capture data required for BI publisher canned reports. Summary is used when only query functionality is required, and others can be selected when the existing maintenance or transaction framework is not suitable. For an others screen, the required business logic must be manually written by the developer. Header template. ODT provides 2 header template options, none and process. None is the default header template and is used for screens other than workflow screens. Process is used for workflow screens. When the process template is selected, ODT adds 2 fields to the header section. Workflow reference. Priority. This allows the header to support workflow-specific information where required. Footer templates. ODT provides different footer templates. None is the default option. Main audit is used for maintenance screens. Main process includes maintenance audit fields along with a control block and process-related fields, and is intended for workflow maintenance screens. Process adds process-related footer information, can be used for workflow transaction screens. Selecting the appropriate template allows ODT to introduce the corresponding standard structures automatically. Main audit. Important behavior. When main audit is selected, the master data source should contain the standard audit columns. Examples include maker underscore ID map to maker, maker underscore DT underscore stamp map to MAKRSTAMP, checker underscore ID map to checker, checker underscore DT underscore stamp map to CECKRSTAMP, mod underscore no map to modno, record underscore stat map to recstat, once underscore UTH map to ONSAUTH, and AUTH underscore stat map to authstat. These block field names are reserved. An important point is that template-generated fields should not be manually added again to data blocks because ODT automatically adds them. Preferences. Overview. After header information, we move to the Preferences section. Preferences maintain function ID level configuration. The information maintained here contributes to the generation of static data scripts for tables such as SMTB underscore menu, SMTB underscore function underscore description, SMTB underscore detail, and SMTB underscore FCC underscore FCJ underscore mapping. Now let us look at the important preferences. Module and module description. The module identifies the module associated with the function ID. The available values are populated based on a module's maintained in SMTB underscore module in the mapped FLEXCUBE environment. The module code is mandatory. It is also used when generating package names, where the first two characters of the generated packages are taken from the maintained module code. The module description is defaulted based on the selected module code. Head office function and logging required. The head office function setting identifies whether the function is a head office function. For such a function, only query operation is possible at the other branches. The logging required setting controls whether request and response information for the function ID is logged in CSTB. The guide also states that this setting is used for the view change option. Auto-authorization, tank modification, and field logging. The next group of preferences covers authorization and logging behavior. Auto-authorization indicates whether auto-authorization is allowed for the function. However, auto-authorization must also be allowed at the function ID, user, and branch levels. Tank modification controls whether modifications are tanked for later processing during EOD. The guide states that this is currently applicable only to maintenance screens. Field log required controls field level logging. When enabled, screen operations are logged to the relevant logging tables. This is also currently applicable only to maintenance screens. Excel export and multi-branch access. The Excel export required option controls whether records from the summary screen can be exported to Excel. The multi-branch access option controls whether records belonging to different branches can be modified from a single branch. When multi-branch access is enabled, additional configuration is required. TXN block name identifies the block containing the branch code field. TXN field name identifies the specific branch code field within that block. These values help ODT identify the branch-related information required for multi-branch functionality. Other preferences. There are also additional preferences. Branch Program ID captures the branch program ID for the function. Process code identifies the process that should be initiated during screen launch and is used for workflow screens. SVN repository URL is used when SVN integration is required, and a repository path up to the module is maintained. The Preferences section can also maintain related function IDs for the screen, such as corresponding summary or gateway functions. Each maintained row contributes to the relevant generated static data records. Control string. The control string defines the operations that are allowed for a function ID. The developer selects the applicable function ID and enables the operations that should be available. The guide notes that control string is disabled for summary screens. Normally, it needs to be provided for the detail screen. Certain operations such as reverse, rollover, confirm, liquidate, and hold are applicable only to transaction screens. The configured control string is reflected in the generated scripts for SMTB under from menu and SMTB under for detail. Summary. Let us quickly summarize what we learned in this video. We started with function generation and explored the header information section. We covered new versus load, function ID naming, save XML path, function types, function categories, header templates, footer templates, and maintenance audit behavior. We then moved to preferences and covered module configuration, head office and logging settings, auto authorization, tank modification, field logging, Excel export, multi-branch access, workflow-related preferences, SVN configuration, and control string. The key takeaway is, header information defines the function structure. Preferences define function ID level behavior and supporting configuration. Thank you. Thank you for watching. In this video, we explore the key header information and preferences required during Oracle FLEXCUBE ODT function generation. These configurations form an important foundation before moving into the next stages of screen development. If you found this video useful, please like and share it with your colleagues. Subscribe to AK Next Gen Vibes for more Oracle FLEXCUBE, banking technology, and technical learning content. I am Victor. See you in the next video. Keep learning and keep growing.